Part 2. Azure Moon. Pegasus Moon. Valley of Torment. Having repelled the Imperial Vanguard, the kingdom must now supplement its meager forces. And so it requests reinforcements from Rodrigue, who is busy resisting Cornelia's army in Fraldarius territory.
You made it.
We received a reply from my father. You should read it too.
Gilbert has filled me in on the details. He tells me you are in immediate need of additional troops. I would like to say that I will gather reinforcements and send them to the monastery at once. However, I cannot afford to leave the front lines for that long. Would you be willing to meet us south of Fraldarius territory in Allel, the Valley of Torment? Allel is halfway between the monastery and our territory. There, I will deliver the soldiers you require.
Allel lies on the border between Kingdom territory and Alliance territory. Humans dare not approach that place.
He's right. In Allel, we can meet up with them without our enemy ever finding out.
Once my old man delivers his soldiers to us, then our war against the Empire can finally begin.
The path ahead will be a difficult one, Your Highness. Deadly, in all likelihood.
True. But what's the point in wavering now? Father, stepmother, Glenn, and even Dedue. I am certain this will bring them great joy. I know if I can just offer them Edelgard's head. I just know it.
Allel, the Valley of Torment.
Oh, hey. I've been meaning to speak with you. I heard that you've been telling people not to worry so much about my condition. Is that a fact? No need to be coy. Thanks for doing that. But I do have one minor concern. You said that I haven't sighed in 5 years? What the heck is that about? Everyone's calling me half-decade happy now. First of all, terrible nickname. Second of all, you weren't even here. Did you just make that up? Seriously? You think that's okay? That's so frustrating. I'm fighting the urge to sigh right now. Well, the nickname's bogus. I have absolutely sighed in the last 5 years. You wouldn't believe what a hassle it was. Monsters rampaging willy-nilly through Abyss. Thanks to some help from the people underground, no one got hurt. But it was a close call. Maybe if you had been there, it wouldn't have been so much trouble. Yes, you. You've got the Sword of the Creator. That thing can chop through monsters like nothing. Are you fishing for compliments now? Fine, you're a good leader. You watch out for all of us. Even when the rest of the world turns and hides from me, I know you've got my back. You make me feel safe. Like I can be myself. Like I don't have to worry so much about keeping my emotions in check. I felt pretty sad all that time you were gone. I could have left Garrick Mach altogether. But then I started thinking, you might still be alive after all. So I went looking for you. Back to where you'd fallen and all. Oh, forget I said anything. Look at me getting all mushy and sincere. How embarrassing. Let's just go back to earlier when I was giving you a hard time. Hey, I can feel embarrassed if I want to. I can feel however I want to feel. Whoa, did I really just say that? I think that's enough vulnerability for one day. I'll see you around.
My room works better for me, but I am willing to compromise. For today. Thank you. Will you drink some? Indeed. 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 Well, then. Indeed. Indeed. Why don't you come by later? I'd very much like to dive into some research together. Well, then. Thank you for a wonderful time, Professor.
Oh, what a relief!
Piece of cake.
Huh, okay. No big deal, really.
Oh yeah! Nailed it!
Professor!
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. Lots of things happen down here. Lots of reports need to be reported. And for all reportable things, I'm your guy.
No. Bandits from Garrick Mach used to come down to Abyss pretty frequently. We never dealt with them, though. We refused their offers at every turn. Sometimes we had to use force. It was Happy who finally drove them out for good. Only then there were beasts all over the place. When the monastery fell to ruin, we lost all hope for support from the church. Most able-bodied folks abandoned Abyss for the surface around that time. Since then, we've been barely scraping by.
The Valley of Torment, huh? I see your angle, but don't let your guard down. Any movement about their borders, and the Lords of the Kingdom will react swiftly. Don't underestimate them. Keep your focus on a positive outcome. There's a lot to gain and a lot to lose.
The Valley of Torment. Isn't that the place where it's scorching hot year-round? You know, I've always wanted to see the world. That's why I left my village. And here I am, traveling to all these interesting new places to kill people. Not what I had in mind. Maybe I'll find some time to admire the scenery. Though people might get mad I'm not taking this silly war seriously. Oops, that was close. Almost sighed.
I wonder how many soldiers that Rodrigue guy will lend us. Not that it matters much. Taking on the whole damn empire? Not even I would bet on those odds. Well, yeah, if we don't, we'll die a terrible death. I've survived this long. I refuse to give up now. You know, win or lose, I guess it's not worth betting on. What would I collect from after the war's over?
I'm steeling myself to see my father again. I can't stand that old man. Yes, I do. Above all, I hate the crazed nonsense that comes out of his mouth.
Heya.
It seems Arianrod, one of the kingdom's sturdiest fortress cities, has fallen to the Empire. It looks like Count Ro didn't resist and switched sides to the Empire straight away, repaying all that the royal family has done for him with betrayal. How shameful.
Hi there.
Hello there.
Say now, to the north of Garreg Mach lie the territories of the Karen and Galatea houses, former lords of the kingdom. Even though their territory is being nibbled at by the Empire, they are still clinging to their neutrality. Since they only display enough force to defend their borders, I suppose the Empire has no incentive to attack them with any real strength.
I concur. Meeting reinforcements in the Valley of Torment seems an astute decision to me. In that land of oppressive heat, it is unlikely that we will be disturbed. It also means we will need to contend with those harsh conditions ourselves, however. Best ensure we are well prepared.
Speaking, these past 5 years, Lord Rodrigue worried for His Highness more than any other. But I wonder what he would say if he saw what has become of Dimitri. I have a request. Thank you very much.
Yes. Strategically speaking, our best move is probably to head for the kingdom capital. Though, I think it's more likely that Lady Rhea is in the Empire, so I would not object to taking the fight directly to Edelgard. There are no right or wrong answers in war. What do you think we should do? I hope with the goddess's guidance, we can make the right choice.
Yes.
Gilbert was a knight to the royal family of Fargus? What was a man like that doing in Garreg Mach, I wonder? Who knows? Whenever I try to ask about it, he'd change the subject and avoid giving a proper answer.
Professor, we weren't related by blood, but Randolph was still my uncle. Seeing him end up that way was... Never mind. It's nothing. It's fine. I don't need your sympathy. It's not like I had any real connection with him anyway. But Dimitri's methods... I don't know. I'm sure he never trusted me, being born in the Empire and all.
Really?
I can't believe it. The Valley of Torment. I'd heard of it, but I never expected to go there. It's exciting. I wonder what the landscape is like. That is an interesting point. The name does seem to suggest that.
Hellel, the Valley of Torment, lies on the border of 3 noble territories. The kingdom's Fraldarius and Galatea families, and the Alliance's Daphno family. Incidentally, the Galatea family was originally an offshoot from the Daphno family.
I have lived inconspicuously these past 5 years, so as not to be discovered by the Empire. To be able to finally return to the monastery again is overwhelming. I hope that our brothers and sisters who ran far away will also return one day.
It is imperative that we regroup with those who continue to resist. Most importantly, we must join up with the Fraldarius family. If we do, our ability to reclaim the kingdom capital is ensured. We should aim for this outcome, rather than focusing our efforts on the imperial capital. This seems to me the best strategy at present. But I feel what His Highness feels. His hatred, his anger, so keenly, as if it were my own. So I find it difficult to oppose his wishes.
Go away. Go away.
What?
Professor!
The monastery repairs have made solid progress. Most excellent news. When we first returned here, I was unsure what we were going to do with the ruins of this place. But if we can get the cathedral rebuilt, we'll have it looking just like old times soon enough.
It has been only 5 years, yet so much has changed. Half of the kingdom has fallen to the Empire. Skirmishes are rife throughout the Alliance. Despite such tumult, we look upon the same sky, unchanged by the storm happening beneath it. Yes, it would be nice, I suppose. Things were simpler then. Or so they seemed to be at the time.
You know...
Professor?
What the?
Let me see.
Can you help me?
ALL, the Valley of Torment. Oh man, I really do not want to go there. Professor, have you ever been to ALL? If you had, you'd know. That place is crazy hot. For guys like me, who grew up somewhere cold, man, it's gonna be rough. Though, I guess that climate will keep our enemies at bay.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Is everyone setting out on a big campaign? Not exactly. Ah, so you're meeting up with the reinforcements. Well, you can leave guarding this place to me. I'll keep an eye out for anything suspicious.
Now, there's unrest everywhere these days. All of my fellow merchants seem to be endangered. I hope things go back to normal soon. People need more to smile about, aside from my great deals. Hey, how about a favor? Hey, how about a favor?
Hello.
How's this? There are enemy spies around. Remain vigilant. Capture anyone who seems suspicious. What else would we do with them?
I think the kingdom doesn't seem to have clear goals holding them together. Different people have different priorities. The situation right now is difficult, but at times like this, you have the opportunity to really shine, eh, Professor? You're in charge. Show them what you're made of. I'll do what I can to help.
Okay. It seems some of our friends believe that if we get those reinforcements, we'll be set for provisions, too. But I think it's best not to hold our breath on the food front. With the added headcount from the reinforcements, there will be even more mouths to feed.
This is all a bit troubling, isn't it? The people from the kingdom seem to be of two minds as well. Can we really plan to fight when we're this unsure of ourselves? You think once we're face to face with the enemy, it might help us band together? I hope so.
I don't know about everyone else, but heading to the Empire seems like a good idea to me. The search for Lady Rhea will be so much easier if we can just get the Empire out of the way. I suppose Dimitri might still pose a problem, though. He seems so fixated on the Imperial capital, but I get the feeling he's not even sure what he wants anymore.
Oh.
The Valley of Torment? What kind of a name for a place is that? It sounds scary. Do I really have to go with you? Hey, here's an idea. Maybe let the recluse stay home and hold the fort.
No.
Let's see.
Gotta clean out the storerooms, tend the flowers, do the washing, dust the library. No, this is my job. Lady Rhea herself gave it to me. Even if Lady Rhea's not here right now, I still gotta do my duty. Like you gotta have other stuff you ought to be doing, yeah?
By the way, the kingdom capital or the imperial capital? I don't know which is the right way. If we tried to take on the Empire like this, would we really stand a chance? With House Fraldarius under attack, they probably can't spare many soldiers. On the other hand,
If we did manage to take the Imperial capital, the war would be over. I'm no good at thinking through this kind of complicated stuff.
If we can take back the kingdom, we'll recover our soldiers. And some food and supplies too, I bet. Most importantly of all, there are people in the kingdom waiting for our help. Even His Highness understands that, I'm sure of it. Yet, he wants to take on the Empire despite all that. Do you think he just doesn't care about anything other than fighting Edelgard anymore? But if not, then why?
Maybe.
Yes.
Nice job.
Professor?
Feeling appreciated. Welcome. Is that the one? Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Is that the one? 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 Thanks a bunch. Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Come back soon.
Professor?
Dear Goddess, please allow His Majesty to rest in peace. Who is it? Oh, Professor. What brings you here at this hour? The hour is late, Professor. You should be resting in preparation for the day to come. I was offering my prayers to the Goddess. It is all that I can do now. I told you I was in service of the royal family, yes? When I was only a young soldier, the king saw fit to make a knight of me. I was given the great honor of guiding and protecting the royal family. It was similar to your own work. I was a teacher of sorts. I instructed both King Lambert and Prince Dimitri in the arts of combat, tactics, and academia. I also did all in my power to keep them safe. Until that day, I was unable to fulfill my duty. I was powerless. Yes. When I received word of the attack, it was already too late. His Majesty was dead, along with many knights and soldiers. If only I had made it to Duscur more quickly. It is my fault that His Highness Dimitri has become the way he is now. After that, I abandoned my wife and child and fled my homeland. I turned my back on everything I swore to protect. My sins are countless. I will bear the weight of my guilt for as long as I live. What else can I do for His Majesty and all of those who died that day? Long ago, there was someone who told me something quite similar. Forgive me. This will not do. As I grow older, I find myself talking endlessly about the past. But it is too late for such things now. I have finished my prayers. We should return.
May I help you, Sereth?
Finally noticed me, I see. Good to see that you are so dedicated to your training.
Do you have need of my sword?
No, this is not a military matter. I would like to discuss the distance you seem to be keeping from the others.
Distance? I don't follow.
I have noticed that you like to keep others at arm's length, and in most cases, quite a bit further.
Keeping a close eye on me. They don't share my values, that's all.
Is that why you train alone? Because your friends do not share your values?
You seem displeased. I suppose you're going to tell me, to defeat your enemies, you must have dependable allies.
That's not exactly how I would phrase it, but having good relationships with your allies is essential in combat. I am sure you realize that it is easier to bond with people when you interact with them more. There are limits to what one person can do alone. Great things cannot be achieved without allies.
You sound like my father. You're saying it's in my own interest to make friends?
To put it simply, yes. As much as you possibly can. To be honest, I envy you, because I know what it is like to not have many people to call friends.
I wouldn't have guessed that. There are so many devout believers.
I am talking about friends. People to speak with on equal terms. You have many friends here. You should take care to attend to them.
I'll consider your advice, but I'm not usually one to change my mind.
To be young.
What's wrong, Ash? Why are you standing there?
I've been thinking. No matter what I do, Lenato and my brother are never coming back.
Do you hate me?
I don't know. Maybe I do. I know you're an ally I can trust, a knight I can respect. But maybe I do.
Why don't you take a swing at me? I bet that'll make you feel better.
What?
Don't just stand there with that timid look on your face. Come at me!
I don't think that's going to help.
This isn't about avenging the dead. It's about taking revenge for yourself. It's how survivors move on. What will you do, Ash? You're welcome to stare at your feet for the rest of your life. Ah, that look in your eye. I like it! Come on! Put your back into it!
Catherine?
Yes, Ash?
I don't know what's right anymore. I don't.
Don't be a fool. You decide for yourself what's right and what's wrong. I believe Lady Rhea is right, so I won't allow anyone to bring her harm.
What about a friend? How could you kill a friend to protect her, with no hesitation?
I couldn't. I'll never forget that day. When they took him, all I could do was stand there. I had to persuade myself, saying over and over under my breath, "This is the right thing to do." If I hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to stand there. I would have cried out. I'm still persuading myself even now. I probably will be for the rest of my life. If I let myself regret what happened, he will have died for no reason.
Catherine.
Uncertainty is weakness. Someday, Ash, you'll have to make up your mind. You know who I am. What will you do about it?
How are you, Catherine? You look well enough.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Never better.
That is good. I cannot help but be concerned given your tendency toward incautious behavior. While boldness can be a virtue, I do hope you will bear in mind that recklessness is not. A moment's negligence can lead to a mortal wound for even the most skilled fighter.
You worry too much. If they saw me in action, the wounds themselves would cower.
That is precisely the attitude that worries me, especially given your history. You have been gravely injured before, as you no doubt recall.
Me? Gravely injured? When did that happen?
You mean you have forgotten? It was during your days as a student at the Officers' Academy. There was an excursion, a monster hunt. You charged ahead and left your fellow students behind. You ended up alone and surrounded. You almost died. Do you truly not remember?
Are you sure? All I remember is cutting down monsters left and right.
That is true enough, but you nearly bled to death in the aftermath. The Archbishop was so concerned for your life that she tended your wounds personally.
Oh, that was when that happened. Finally! It all fits together. Lady Rhea looking after me. Now that I remember clearly. That was the first time she ever spoke to me. I was lying on the ground, caked in mud, and she gently picked me up, even stroked my hair. The emotions were so overpowering that they must have just cleared away my memory of the whole incident. So it was during the monster hunt. Thanks, Sedith. That's been bothering me for ages.
That is not quite why I brought it up.
Come to think of it, Lady Rhea hasn't healed me since then. We've got to find Lady Rhea, and then maybe someday she'll honor me like that again.